Rev up your engines!
Jaguar Land Rover is now pausing exports over Trump's tariffs. They're not going to send the Jaguars and Land Rovers to us. Oh, how can we live without our brand new Jaguars and Land Rovers when we go to our yachts, private clubs to play tennis and golf, right? The most of us, we really don't care, right? And if you ever listen to me, don't buy a Jaguar or a Land Rover unless you like peeing your money down the toilet as fast as you can flush it in, right? They're horrible vehicles. They don't hold up. Their resale value is ridiculous. The only thing they have is snob appeal, right? Yeah, I drive a Jaguar. Oh, I have a Land Rover. Ooh, ooh. But they're pausing them. They're saying to their key markets because they don't want to have to charge people more. Look, they're already charging way too much money, and they're hard enough to sell. But now they're going to pause sending them here. And most Americans probably say, I really don't care, right? I mean, what's next? Are they going to stop shipping us Earl Grey tea? I mean, it will just destroy the United States if we can't get our Earl Grey tea. I just find it absolutely hilarious. What do they think? Maybe they think, well, you know, those politicians, they're driving around in Jaguars and Land Rovers. They won't like it. They can't buy a new one. Maybe they'll change the rules for us. I don't know. The English, they no longer control anything anymore, right? The funny thing is, though, the largest exports from England and the United States, that's what it is, British cars. For some bizarre reason. Like last year, they sold over 100,000 of them in the United States. I guess there's a bunch of American snobs that want to ride around in the things, right? But most of us, the other, 350 million, whatever, we don't care about Jaguars and Land Rovers. You can keep them, you can send them. It makes no difference to us whatsoever. Well, here's some rather scary news. Turns out that buyers now are taking out scarier and scarier loans to afford new cars. Longer extended loans, higher interest rates. Because unfortunately in the United States, many people buy cars, or even houses, by what the monthly payment is. Me, I look at the price, what does this house car cost, and then decide what do I want to do, do I want to buy. I don't say, well, what's the monthly payment? Because the average new car in the United States costs over $48,000, according to Edmunds, right? It's a lot of money. And if it's a 3-year note, you're going to pay a lot more per month. But some people are even taking 7-year notes out on their cars. Years ago, that would have been unthought of, but today, it's becoming more common. If you're going to be paying all those years, do the math, do the years, multiply it by your payments. You see how much more you are actually paying for a car. It will make your head spin. Don't just buy something because of its monthly payment. Let me tell you, that's a mistake. And of course, to make it worse, the interest rates are up. The average car loan today, the average car loan in the United States is 7.1% interest. So you're paying that interest for 7 years. You add that stuff up, that really makes the price of your car go sky high. Don't get fooled into this, oh, here's a monthly payment, you can afford it. Think about what are you actually paying? And of course, being a mechanic myself, I advise people, don't ever buy a new car. It's a waste of money. Buy a good used one. And if there is a recession coming, it looks that way, that drops the prices of used cars too. You'd be foolhardy today. Buy a new car, 7 years, 7.1% interest, and then you find out 2-3 years from now, the cars are going for much less, but you're tied into that high interest rate. You're much better buying a used car at a lower price. And you might say, well, they might not last as long. So what? And you're paying so much less for a used car. It doesn't matter if your used car blows up 3 years later. Just buy another one versus the tremendous amount of money that you're going to pay. And in the end, you're going to have a car at the end of 7 years that's probably worth, I don't know, the way things are going today, maybe 30% of what you paid. Look at it logically. Be like me. Don't say, I like that shiny new car. I'm going to buy it. No. See how much it's going to cost each month. See what the residual value is. Then you'll probably say, gee, I'm going to start hunting for a used car. Well, Toyota seems to be having manufacturing problems, but they also have a big problem with their dealerships. Here's an email from Isaiah Saucedo from Texas. He says, Scotty, I'm a soldier who used to be at Fort Campbell. My Toyota Tundra got an early oil leak, as you can see in the video. He's got a video of the oil leaking, right? I took it to the dealer. They tried to charge me for a diagnostic fee and said, I don't have a leak. And they're cleaning it and said nothing is wrong. I'm trying to get this addressed before my truck runs out of warranty. Help. This is Loving Toyota in Lufkin, Texas. They're saying his Toyota isn't leaking oil when he has a video that it actually is leaking oil. The problem again stems from the poor overall design of dealerships. Take Toyota. Toyota's a company that makes cars. The dealerships in the United States are independently owned by Americans who want to make a lot of money. They don't want to fix anything for free under warranty because they don't make any money doing it. So they're denying that his vehicle's leaking oil when you can see by his video he actually is. Toyota, will you stop into these people, tell them they need to fix the cars that are made that are leaking oil that you guys built? And then they sold and said, oh, no, it's not leaking oil. Now, the hilarious thing is, and I see this over and over again, I have had scores of customers over the last 57 years I've been working on cars. Bring me Toyotas that they took to the dealer, and the dealer said it's leaking oil. We got to take this apart. It's going to be $1,500. Then I go to the car and they say, well, it's not really leaking oil. You can see it's not even getting to the ground. It's just seeping a little, and it's not going to hurt anything, right? But in this case, his is actually dripping on the ground. They're saying, oh, there's no oil leak. When you pay, they'll tell you there's an oil leak. But when they pay, oh, no, the oil's not leaking. Hey, it's your dealer. If they're going to treat your customers like that, hey, if they're bad enough, my advice is shut them down. You got the right to shut them down. If they don't treat the people right, Toyota in their contracts can shut dealerships down. I've seen car manufacturers in Houston shut dealerships down. They were so bad that they had to shut them down because they were giving a horrible reputation to the builders of the cars. So in this case, Toyota, you need to do something about this. Well, GM is planning more layoffs this time in a Rochester, New York plant because guess what? Electric cars aren't popular anymore. Now, this is a plant that they were doing stuff with the Ultium batteries. They didn't even use the name Ultium anymore. And they were making stuff for controllers, I guess, for electric cars. Well, since GM isn't going to be making that many electric cars, these people are losing their jobs now. General Motors sold its stake in the Ultium battery plant that's in Michigan. They're kind of seeing the handwriting on the wall. Hey, electric cars, hey, people don't want to buy the stupid things. And of course, it's all going to feed down the line. This plant didn't make the electric cars, but it worked on the batteries and it worked on the control systems for electric cars. And now, down the toilet it goes. Domino effect here. These guys make this for this, for this, for this. And when the electric cars aren't made, the whole thing, including the mines too. You know, they mine lithium. They're not going to be selling as much. When the lithium price was way, way up, now it's coming way, way down. Realize lithium isn't just lying around in most places. They got to get tons and tons of the stuff and then refine it to get the lithium out. Just like gold. Not as bad as gold. I mean, gold, you need all these thousands and thousands of tons to get a little tiny bit of gold. You got a lot more lithium, but still, it's a relatively inefficient, expensive process. And if people aren't going to be building these batteries with lithium, these mines aren't even going to start up, the ones that they were planning on, because it's not profitable yet. So, anybody that thinks electric cars are coming soon, yeah, maybe they're coming soon to the junkyard, but people that want to buy them in the factories that are making them are starting to go down like dominoes. Well, you know, they're planning on building those Scouts. Volkswagen owns the name, so they're going to build them. Well, they have a service bay idea that's radical, but as far as I'm concerned, it's radically stupid. Scout Motors says retail service spaces have an idea that the service bays and the waiting rooms are in the same space. So you can talk to the mechanic while they work on your rig. Well, let me tell you one thing. I've been a mechanic for 57 years. And the last thing I want is people talking to me when I'm working on a car. I remember one time back in Houston, probably 30 years ago, I was working on this woman's car, right? And she was in a hurry, so she's standing there watching me. And then she says, well, shouldn't you? I looked up, I just glared at her. I didn't say anything. And she said, oh, okay, I guess you're the mechanic. Look, the last thing a mechanic wants is somebody talking to them while they're doing a job. Being a mechanic, a real mechanic, is a Zen experience. That's just the way that it is. When I'm working on cars, I like it because I ignore the rest of the world, all the horse manure that's going on, whining kids, whatever, barking dogs. I ignore it all, and I concentrate on, okay, what's wrong with this stupid car, and how can I fix it as fast as possible at the least cost for my customers so they don't get ripped off. I'm concentrating. And like my wife said, you can't really multitask correctly. You should be doing one thing at a time. And if somebody's talking to you while you're working on the car, guess what? There's going to be screw-ups because you're going to miss something because you're concentrating on what the person's saying. Realize this is an idea, a rather stupid idea, but we're still at least 2 years out before any Scouts are even sold in the United States. The interesting thing is, they say that they're going to have 100 physical locations, 1,300 service bays. So that would be 13 service bays for each place. And if the customers are sitting there with them, let me tell you, you're talking about a recipe for disaster. I doubt if they're ever implemented, but if they do, I can't wait to see what happens. Well, we all know there's stupid people out there, and quite a few of them have money. Well, there was a woman who bought a Tesla Model X, and here's what she says. I covered my Tesla Model X in Christmas lights. RIP to my $100,000 car. Who let me do this, and why didn't anybody tell me this was going to happen? Relatively ignorant about paint and stuff. And now the paint, of course, is all marred from the tape that they put on. I'll give you a warning. Anybody in the United States, it's illegal to put Christmas lights on your car unless you just park it in your driveway and leave it there. Because you cannot drive a car down the road with Christmas lights going. It's against the law to have these lights flashing. It's kind of an imitation of emergency vehicles, police vehicles, fire vehicles, right? You can't do it. Now, if you want to do it in your driveway, go right ahead. But you can't drive down the road with them on. Now, I suppose you could drive down the road if you don't ever turn them on. I couldn't see there'd be a law against that, but you better not turn them on. And if you did like she did and you tape them to your paint, it will also destroy your paint after a while. I have no sympathy for either of these people, so I find it hilarious with their relationships that they put on Twitter or wherever they're showing them off, doing stupid things to their cars that end up destroying the paint job, but being illegal. You can't drive down the road with lights on. You're not allowed to do that. I mean, if you want to do it in your driveway, go right ahead. So if you got a lot of land somewhere, you know, acres and acres, go ahead, drive on your own land. But you can't drive on a road with Christmas lights riding on. It's against the law. Well, another electric vehicle venture is going down the toilet. It's called Hyzon, and it was making hydrogen EV fuel cells in Bolingbrook, Illinois. And now they say, well, we're going to have to lay off all our employees and liquidate our assets. Startup of hydrogen-powered electric trucks built a fuel cell factory in Bolingbrook, Illinois. It's going to liquidate its assets and may terminate substantially all of our remaining employees. Great. You know, another one. This fantasy. They've got the science fiction fantasy in their heads, and then they're finding out, well, nobody really wants to buy these things. They cost a lot of money. Where the heck are they going to get the hydrogen to fuel them with? I mean, it's just, you know, and everyone, yeah, that's the future, that's the future. Maybe it's the future 100, 200 years from now, but as it stands today, no, it isn't. And listen to what it said in their filing of their bankruptcy filing. Listen, the reduction in force is primarily a result of the company's inability to raise funding and the future uncertainty relating to its availability of government subsidies. Okay, they call it reduction in force. They're selling all the assets and firing all the people. That's a reduction in force. That isn't a reduction in force. That's an elimination of the factory. They all want government subsidies. It comes down to, hey, wouldn't it be great if you had a company and the government subsidized and it went out of business? You didn't lose any money. The government did, and you paid yourself a lot in salaries. So, and if you were smart, you played the stock market and knew you were getting a government grant. And then later you sell all your stock and make a fortune, and then it all goes down the toilet. I mean, they're just scams. And the government buys into these things, throws money into them, and now another one of these electric vehicle makers has gone down the toilet. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.